Televisa presenta.
Hello, I presentation History Mexico. Almost 700 years ago, one of the most impressive cities in the world was founded in the middle of Lake Texcoco, Mexico Tenochtitlan, the new capital of the Mexican Empire, which had a greater number of inhabitants than its contemporary European cities. The history of Tenochtitlan begins with its foundation in 1325, product of a prophecy in which the Aztecs had to find an eagle of a nopal, which would indicate the correct place where their city would be built. The greatness achieved was possible thanks to the tribute that came to the empire from the subject kingdoms. Upon the arrival of the Spaniards, Tenochtitlan and its surroundings were gradually modified, and nothing remained of its essence except the memory, as it was transformed into a colonial city. In 1808, Mexico City once again had population at 300,000 inhabitants, as Tenochtitlan once said. Already in 1890, the population was 600 inhabitants, and in 1920 it reached 1 million. Since then, the map of the Mexico City has been updated annually, showing the overflow on the urban area towards its borders. In 1945, the city had 4.5 million inhabitants and had already become the economic and labor center for the inhabitants of distant states such as Puebla, Hidalgo, Oaxaca, and Michoacán, which further accelerated its growth. In 1998, the city had 8.8 million inhabitants. In almost 35 years, in almost double its population. Today, that which was the incredible Mexico Tenochtitlan, and that today is simple Mexico City, has almost 22 million inhabitants, and its growth does seem to stop.
Our city is located in the basin of Mexico, a close hydrological unit located in a lacustrine plain. The fact of being a close basin is rated by a mountainous area. The federal district borders the state of Mexico to the north, east, and west, while it borders Morelos to the south.
Mexico City weather. The average annual temperature in Mexico City or the Federal District is 16 Celsius degrees. The lowest temperature is 5 Celsius degrees and occurs in the month of January. The highest temperature is 25 Celsius degrees and occurs in the months of March to May. The temperature increases from south to north as altitude decreases, with the lowest temperature being 6 to 8 Celsius degrees in the upper part of the mountain system and the highest being 16 to 18 Celsius degrees in the extreme north. The temperate zones between 12 and 18 Celsius degrees occupy 66.27% of the entity's territory, and the semi-cold zones between 5 and 12 Celsius degrees occupy 33.73%. The average total Rainfall in the state is 770 mm per year. The rains occur during the summer in the months of June to September. Precipitation is more intense in the south of the entity between 1,500 and 2,000 mm per year and decreases as altitude decreases, being less intense between 500 and 600 mm in the extreme northeast. 87.21% of the entity's surface has a subhumid climate, 6.59 semi-dry climate, and 6.2 has humid climate. In general terms, the predominant climates in Mexico City by territorial extension are temperate subhumid 59.68%, semi-cold subhumid 27.53%, temperate semi-dry 6.59%, and semi-cold humid 6.2%. Handicrafts. Crafts in Mexico City are a microcosm of the craft production in most of the country. One of the main reasons is because the city has attracted migration from various parts of the world, bringing these handicrafts with them. The most important craft in the city is the hard paper mache work called cartoneria, used to make piñatas and other items related to various annual celebrations. It is also used to make fantasy creatures called alebrijes, which originated in Mexico in the 20th century, while there are handicrafts made in the city. The capital is best known for selling and promoting handicrafts from other parts of the country, both fine and very traditional, low-cost wares at outlets from fine shops to street markets.
Of historical monuments or historical places that are most used are Monument and Museum of the Revolution. It is located in Tabacalera neighborhood of the Cuauhtémoc delegation, near the historic center of Mexico City. Another historical place is the Monument to Independence, better known as the Angel of Independence. It is the most emblematic monument in the country. It is a column on which is the image of the Winjek victory. The monument was inaugurated in 1910 to commemorate the centenary of Mexico's independence and was coincided with the 10th President of the Republic, Porfirio Diaz. And finally, a monument to the children heroes, made by Ernesto Tamaris. It serves as a tribute to the cadets of the military college who gave their lives to defend Chapultepec Castle from the North American invasion of September 13, 1846.
Transportation. Mexico City is known for being one of the most beautiful, attractive, cultural, historical, and tourist cities in the world, but also for the great road and transportation caused by the overpopulation of more than 20 million inhabitants in the metropolitan area. If you are a visitor, you undoubtedly need a guide on how to get around Mexico City without fail, so pay attention to all the tips we have for you. The good news is that today there are many safe, fast and cheap options to travel to the main places of interest in the city, which, if you are a tourist, are a great option, since very few can travel with their car. Besides that, if you are not an experienced driver in the city, you may face big problems like getting lost or dealing with brutal traffic. Mexico City Subway. This is without a doubt the most used, efficient and loved form of transportation by both residents of the capital and visitors, which is the backbone of public transportation, which moves millions of people daily, distributed in its 12 lines that go from north to south, and from east to west. Metrobus and Trolleybus of Mexico. Metrobus and trolleybus are truck road systems, some combustions and others electric, which area operated and managed directly by the government of the capital, and which have exclusive lanes aside of the route for the safety of passengers, but also to avoid the extreme traffic that sometimes occurs. The cost of his transportation is only 6 pesos, and you can use the integrated mobility card to access it, which also gives you access to the subway, cable bus and light rail, trucks and public passenger transport. There are some trucks routes in Mexico City, but operate by the government and by private individuals, which transport residents and visitors to much more inaccessible or remote areas of neighborhoods. Some trucks, such as the EcoBus or official routes, can be a good option. However, the use of the other transport, such as microbuses or combis, is not highly recommended, since if one does not know the routes, it's very easy to get lost. In addition that of many occasions they are quite insecure and attacked by criminals. Bicycles in Mexico. Bicycles are without a doubt one of the best ways to get to now Mexico City, because only in this means of transportation will you be able to move forward as you please, stopping at places of interest and being able to appreciate in detail and the urban landscapes that this city has to give us. Little by little, the culture of cycling in Mexico is becoming more and more present, because for the purpose bike paths have been seduced the most important avenues, and there are routes and days in which you can go for a bike ride exclusively along avenues such as Reforma, Insurgentes, Juárez, among others.
And typical food in Mexico City are basket tacos, or traditional fillings are pressed pork rinds, potatoes, beans, marinated meat, and green mole. In a bucket herring from the bicycle, they carry a rich preparation of pickled jalapenos and rich sauce. Also, something typical of Mexico City are the fleros. They are fried tacos rolled into cylinder tatal, and another classic of the Mexican dish. Its name is due to the similarity with the flout, and it is believed that originated in Sinaloa. The florets are stuffed with a meat or shredded chicken with a layer of cheese, cream, lettuce, avocado, and other vegetables. And we also have the tlacoyos. Their style selling tlacoyos are distinguished among of the typical dishes of Mexico City. Be a large coma placed on the brazier. It's a thick corn dog, generally more than 1 cm, cooked at the moment of curb, hot or gratin, stuffed with potatoes, beans, cheese, pork rinds, broad beans, onion, cilantro, and on other ingredients. It is sazoned with a green or red sauce.
Flora. 40% of its territory is mainly for urban use, and 33% of temperate forest, pine, oyamel, pine oak, and oak, grasslands, and thickets of the vegetation of the valley. Only small areas of grasslands are located on the northeast on the grounds of the Benito Juarez International Airport. The agricultural area comprises 27% of its territory. Wildlife: rattlesnake, Moctezuma frog, and tree frog. In the pine and oak forest, hare, squirrel, opossum, shrew, kangaroo rat, sparrow, hummingbird, color lizard, and butterfly. In the bushes, weasel, raccoon, and rabbit. In grasslands, rat and mouse, squirrel, raccoon, and gopher. In the lakes of Xochimilco and Tlahuac, charal, toad, frog, salamander, or axolotl, water snake, and Mexican duck. Animals in danger of extinction: Cacomixtle, rabbit of the volcanoes, or teporingo.